Where grief leans hardest, the drowned city answers. Maren dug her heels into the cold mud and pulled while the rope cut her palms raw. Salt wind stung her eyes. Beneath the flats, a bell struck once, then again, slow as a heart under water. The rope had not been there at dusk, and her dead brother's name rode the fog. When the second bell rolled under the night, she should have run for the dike. Instead she wrapped the black strand around her wrist and leaned back with all her weight. 3 weeks had passed since the storm took Hin and his skiff beyond the shoals. The sea had returned planks, a smashed oarlock, and one boot. It had not returned his body. In the village, women lowered their voices when Maren crossed the lane. Her father kept the ferry chain oiled and said little. Grief sat in their house like wet wool. That evening the tide fell farther than she had seen in winter. The Wadden Sea opened in long ribs of shining mud, and from that exposed dark came the sound old people named only after ale and prayer, the bells of Rungholt, the drowned city. Maren heard them clear as iron. Then she saw the rope lifting from the flats, black, slick, and tight, as if some buried hand had thrown it up for her alone. At the edge of low tide, by dawn the rope was gone. Only a groove in the mud showed where it had lain, straight as a road toward the outer flats. Maren stood over it with numb hands while gulls picked at stranded shells. Her father came down from the dike carrying the boat hook. The first gift from below carried the shape of hope. "You heard them," she said. He looked past her to the tide line. "I heard mud shifting." She opened her split palm. Black fibers clung in the cuts. For the first time in weeks, his face changed. He took her wrist, turned it to the light, and let go at once, as if the rope might still be there. At home he barred the door before the noon tide. He told her the old rule in the plain tone he used for weather and ferry fees. "If Rungholt calls, you do not answer. The sea keeps what it has named." He had heard the bells once as a boy, after his own mother died in childbirth. His father tied him to the bedpost until morning. He never forgave the rope for making him want to go. That should have closed the matter. Instead it opened something in Maren. Until then, grief had been heavy and dull. Now it had shape. The drowned city had heard her. The sea had not gone deaf after taking Hin. The next low tide came under a sky the color of pewter. Maren waited until her father slept in the chair by the stove. She took Hin's old oilskin, a lantern, and the small knife she used for cutting bait. The flats stretched bare and silver under the wind. Far out, where no path should hold, a dark line stood upright from the mud. She reached it breathless. The rope rose from a patch of black silt that smelled of rot and old salt. It was thick as her thumb and warm despite the cold air. When she pulled, the mud below gave a soft sucking sigh. Something surfaced in the lantern